Sam.
Damn it, I hate that on Tinder when they fucking do that.
What do they do?
Are we ready?
What do you hear on Tinder they do? Can you start off talking about that?
Welcome, everybody, to My Dumb Friends. Yes, I can. I hate, I understand. I'm already used to on Tinder when they have the first picture.
You look like one of those poker players out of the World Series of Poker.
Yeah.
we have
Silly
I feel like,
World
yeah,
Series.
this is like what you should be outside of a car dealership in Tulsa right now.
Can you tax refunds?
Can you?
I was trying to do the Windsock guy.
You know what's the weird thing? There's only like 7 people watching the streaming show, so you're doing physical comedy for 7 people instead of the people that'll actually listen to this.
Well, it's all right. I look like shit, so.
You look great.
Thanks, man.
I mean, you look
I was
fine.
fishing for you. I mean, it's Sunday. Sunday's kind of like
Sunday's a whatever day. But you got
yeah.
a lady. You already hooked her
had a
in.
rough weekend.
What did you do this weekend? That was
I
so
went
rough.
I flew to Denver to go see a concert.
What concert?
The Flaming Lips.
Oh, I saw them at MSG. Great concert.
They're great, man.
Yeah.
Wait, they played at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, with the Wilco, New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
How long ago was that?
2004,
Whoa.
2003.
They put on
You
an
got on the
amazing,
ground floor, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing
Not
live
really.
show. Yeah, no, I've seen them like a dozen times. And they were playing at Red Rocks with the Denver Symphony Orchestra.
That's such a cool fucking concert.
Yeah, and they were just doing the Soft Bulletin, which is one of my favorite albums of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So flew there, went to the show, flew back Friday night, and then did 2 shows last night. And just kind of had drinks Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it's like, and did Brendan Small and Steve Agee do that music show, Baked?
Oh,
Familiar
nice.
with that? It's like you do a stand-up set and then you do a song with the band.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, my throat's just shot. I was sang a Rita Ford song.
Which one? Went to a party last
Exactly.
Saturday night.
The
I
only
didn't
one.
get laid. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing. You not know that song, Dan?
There's a
I
cutoff
thought that
point.
you were saying for a second. I thought that was what's going on. But
No.
No, that's Four Non Blondes. This is Lita
I'm
Ford.
sorry, guys.
I have
I'm
it right
sorry.
here.
Went to a
I'm from a
party
different
last
generation.
Saturday night. Here, you want to bring it up?
Yeah, I have it in. I was listening to it all day yesterday.
It's such. That's like from when I was a kid.
The lyrics are so stupid. Yeah, it's 88.
Yeah. It ain't no big thing.
I've never heard this.
Late to my job and the traffic was bad. I had to borrow $10 from my old man.
It ain't no big thing. It's where it kicks in.
Went to a party last Saturday night. I told you that story, it'll be alright.
Dumbest song ever.
There's no substance to that song whatsoever.
know what I like. It's catchy, man. It'll get stuck in your head.
Yeah, it definitely had that instrumentals of like a montage in a mall.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, or a workout montage.
Workout montage.
She was the lead guitarist for the Runaways.
Yeah.
Ford.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, that's where she got started, and then she went solo in the early 80s.
How did the '80s make so many cool people become corny? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
The George Harrison albums in the 80s are like bafflingly bad.
Yeah, right. But I mean,
Although I like
hard-
that one song.
The
I got my
Runaways-
mind set on
Well, that's like
Yeah,
the
no,
one.
that is a
yeah.
good song.
Remember the
cool-
video
Yeah.
had all the moving animals,
Taxidermy heads.
taxidermy heads and stuff.
Yeah, that is a good. I'm wrong.
But no, but with Lita Ford, it's like the Runaways is a cool. It's like still a cool band.
Yeah.
So, but then you're Lita Ford, and you're like one of the corniest things. That song is like,
I mean, that's the kind of music that was going on then. That was like,
Yeah.
88 was like the peak of hair metal cheese.
Yeah.
What was the thing?
that was like hair metal pop.
I just thought about this
Yeah.
with the Runaways. Isn't there like the whole thing where there's Japanese pop bands like they're encouraged to be virgins for a long time?
I don't know.
Oh no, that's a different thing. That's a whole
Yeah.
movement. I think that I heard a podcast about that.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But
Did you hear that? It was This American Life where they talked about
I forget now. Yeah, it was
when they
it-
find out that they have
significant other, like boyfriends and girlfriends, the fans revolt and they lose their shit.
Oh, really?
And they just like they lose their minds. And then they found out one girl had sex, and then they have certain colors for each act. And then when the girl came out, usually it's like they all have these light up their phones, or they have these light up things. They'll be like, they'll all be blue for one guy. They'll all be green for another girl. And this one girl, they found out she had sex. And when she came out, everybody turned their lights off.
Oh
and it was just a pitch black stadium in Japan. Something crazy like that, where it's like really fucked up.
That is a repressed culture.
Yeah,
But they're also like, and that's kind of like the codes. You know, like how gay guys have codes where they hang different colored handkerchiefs out of their back pockets.
Is this like? I feel like this is how Deep Throat used to fuck in the 70s.
I don't know. It's from the 70s
Nixon
or
informant.
something.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Well, but like, isn't Japanese culture like they do weird shit too, though, like piss and shit on
Yeah,
tables
I don't
and-
think that there's a way. I mean, there's one really cool thing I found out about at work, which is I guess there's a nonprofit in Japan called White Hands or something like that, or something, which is like women who give like hand jobs to like really handicapped people or really or like terminally ill
That's nice.
people.
Wow, that's
So,
a
I mean,
good service.
Yeah, that's a great service.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many less. Well, that's not true. I don't know. I really don't know how you can connect that. But I feel like, if some of those guys had come a little bit, maybe there would be less shootings, mass shootings.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm oversimplifying the problem, but
I mean, I think they'll do it if you're a fucking
if they're crazy,
if
they'll
you're
do
a
it.
fucking nerd, you're gonna lose it anyway.
That's
like, I
true.
mean, because then if they start getting these hand jobs, then they'll fall in love with the girl and try to pursue a more of a relationship with them. And then when they're rejected by her, then they're still gonna go shoot.
They're
people.
still going to do it. At the
I mean, they'll
end,
kill her first, probably.
yeah, the end goal is still.
That's what we should
do.
do: is get suicidal girls to do the hand jobs for the potential mass shooters. So that way, if it goes wrong, like everybody wins. Like they don't unload at a mall; they just kill a girl who was probably going to kill herself.
Brendon
anyway.
Walsh, depressing problem solving. It's like
Just
life.
trying to solve problems, man.
And it's like Elliott Smith life hacks.
Stab yourself to death.
How are
That's
things
a
going with your
fucking idea.
girlfriend?
Good, man. We just went and saw that concert.
You guys have been together for like a year now?
Like a year, yeah, a little bit more.
Wow.
Well, it was like a slow burn, like when it started off. I mean, I don't know where she was at, but I thought this isn't going to last very long. Like, I just thought it was going to be a casual kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
But then the more we hung out, we were like, oh yeah, realized that we like each other.
I think that's like the best way something can start out.
Yeah.
Oh, I left for 2 seconds, and Dan's asking you about your relationship. Is that what's going on? He loves that.
You know,
As soon as
you
she-
fuck
loves
over our
relationship
next guest by telling him to now he's got to wait here for half hour.
He's coming
so
in.
you're already fucking up the schedule, and then you come in shitting on me.
I'm
Oh
giving you a
my
little
god,
sh-
you're a fucking asshole.
I'm fucking with you. Relax. That was so tame. That was
I
nothing.
was fine. It was tame. I'm just saying. This is also guys do this. Sean is the king of this. Like he'll give you a bar, but then you'll get up. He goes, "That was tame," and I'll do the same thing and say, "Wait, you got a fucking problem with me?"
Because you guys hang out too much.
Yeah, we hang out too much. We don't. We live on the other side. We got to call less. I think that's the
We got to call us. Yeah.
solution.
We'll be right because it was actually that you're right. That's a good point because we talk on the phone so much that when I saw him at UCB for the
Yeah.
first time since I've been here the other day, and it wasn't like when I saw you, I gave you a hug, like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while." We don't even do that because we feel like we just saw you. I
So
talked
like
to
we
him so
literally
much.
didn't even move.
It'd be
We
like
go,
if
"Hey."
you and Randy, like if you and
Yeah.
Randy. You know
Have
what
you
I'm
and
saying?
Randy spent too much time together before? And you're like,
Well,
"All right."
we're currently doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They literally live next to each other in the same building.
Now
And
we
then
do.
you
Randy
work
told me it's
It's
together.
laughable. Yeah.
Have you guys had
work
blow-ups
together?
yet or no? Blow-ups?
Not really. I mean, there'll be little kind of like, yeah, we'll just get on each other's nerves. But I think it's like a parent, and then it's like, all right, then we just don't hang out for a few days.
Yeah, you're adults.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, but nothing.
I got to
major.
drive this guy home after this. So it's just not even ending.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I mean, him and his girlfriend split up. They were together for like 7 years.
Yeah, he
and
was
stuff,
telling me
and-
about that.
Yeah, but they were living together. So when it was like, when they split up, it's like, well, you have to move. You got to get out of the fucking house. You can't linger around.
Yeah, you can't stay
no.
there. No way.
And he was looking for places, and there was a place available in my building. And I was like, well, there's there's an apartment for rent. He's like, is that a good idea? I was like, I don't know. It'll probably be fine. You know, like I didn't want to be like, you can move anywhere except for this one available affordable
yeah,
place.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And, so it was like, oh, well, we'll see how it goes. And actually, it's fine. You know, it's kind of like we have keys to each other's place. So, like, when one of us is out of town, we can fucking get the mail or whatever.
That's good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I've got a friend now who wanted to live next to me, friend from high school, and I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. And he's like, why am I? Because I get annoyed at you now, and I see you only like once a month.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think we can live together now. We used to live together, and it
We
was
couldn't
fine.
now. It would
Not
be a
now.
nightmare. There's one guy. This is the same guy who fucking like 2 days ago. He just annoys me to no end. He's like, "Hey, listen, man, can you help me out? He doesn't live in LA
What's
anymore."
his name?
Alex Whitrill. I don't give a shit. Scream it on. I won't say. But Alex, he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, man, can you help me out? Because he used to live in LA. I forgot my dry cleaning." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I'll pick it up." He goes, "Yeah, I left it 2 years ago." And I'm like, "What?"
Wait,
And
what?
then he goes, and he's like,
They get rid of it, I thought, after a year.
Well, they called him up and they're like, "We're going to get rid of it." And then I'm like, "All right, man, I'll go pick it up." And then he goes, "Okay, cool." And then another text he goes, "Can you tell me what time you're going to pick it up?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, it's been there 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been there 2 years. It's fine. An hour's not going to kill this fucking Armenian family or whatever the fuck's holding it."
Was he away?
He lives in New York. So now I got all this fucking dry cleaning in my
Oh,
past.
I saw that. That's his.
Yeah, that's
dry
all
cleaning?
his shit. Some of it's like
How much is
fucking
it?
Nepalese blankets and shit he got, or stuff he got from Bhutan.
So it's like a ton of
It's
stuff?
a ton of shit.
It's a lot of dry. I made fun of him. I thought it was his, and I'm
No,
like,
it's
what's
all
this
my
dry
friends.
cleaning? Because literally we.
Well, I didn't even address it because you said it. I'm like, yep. I knew what you were, and I was like, I didn't even want to bring it up because it made me angry thinking about this fucking. All my friends annoy me. I have a plant that's pretty cool.
You ever think maybe it's you? You ever think that? Well, no, actually, no. That dry cleaning thing's pretty much bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in my case, it's not me. It's
Yeah,
you.
of course it's not you. Yeah, fucking Atticus Finch over here. Everybody loves him. It's a weird one. It's a Ted Danson and Cheers. I should use the
Ted
Cheers.
Danson and shit.
I don't know, man.
You try to get literary with it.
Anyway,
No, but that's what happens. You can't spend that much time with anybody. That's like kind of goes to your. We're talking about like last week with marriage when you. Oh no, I guess 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, we wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I feel
With-
like we're actually getting worse at doing this podcast.
when were we ever good at it? What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
I think it's like a
we
negative
literally
network.
have Danny's the
Like,
next guest, and we have in the
a
studio now.
rock was. I know. Whose fault was that? You didn't do the scheduling right.
No, that's not true. I did it. It got fucked up.
Danny, first
I mean,
off,
he was
now
good
we know
enough to-
Danny Solomon's here. Hi, Danny. Very funny guy. Danny and Sean wrote a script together.
That's true. You'll find out about that next week.
Man,
But no, but basically
people
that's
are going
what
to
hap-
lose their minds waiting
I know.
a whole week.
To hear about a comedy script. No stand-ups have ever done that before.
All right, so it's a guy, right? And he works at a car wash, but he also is in this fucking witness protection program. And the show's called Clean Getaway.
That's actually
That's actually a
honestly,
great
that's
idea.
not bad. I feel like that seems like a Mike Epps vehicle.
I have an idea that since this, hopefully I'll execute it before. I've had a rash of ideas being stolen from me. Well, two.
Have you really?
Yeah, there's one. I don't want to talk about it. I will talk about it afterwards. But there's an idea that I pitched around for 2 years, and now it's a slightly tweaked version of it is on a fucking show
And
now.
you think it's like literally it was stolen from
I
you when
feel
you
like
brought it up?
it's like all the
It's-
key elements, like all the entire essence of the thing is there, down to like the name. And
okay. Yeah, that
but
happens.
it's slightly different, and I'm like, I pitched this and talked about it so much for the past 2 years. Somebody's working for this show that was like, that guy's not doing anything with this idea.
Yeah.
And or
That
they just
sucks.
pitched it as their own, and we're like, hey, I have this idea, and I think I don't know, I just learned about it, but apparently it's been going on for a little bit.
Oh, shit.
And it really bummed me out.
Fresh
'cause it
off
was-
the boat. That was your story. That was
Yeah,
your
it was
story.
your, it was your
family, a
Asian
bunch of-
story.
It was like, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, but it was like a family of white people moved into like a white neighborhood. And we had to adapt to, like shopping
And they
at a
didn't
different
have a
Whole Foods.
restaurant. It's actually it's not on paper. It's
Exactly,
not similar.
yeah.
Family comedy.
But they knew what I meant.
They do it. There's on one episode. There's an Asian person.
But
so.
that one really stung though, like because it's happened in the past where I'm like, yeah, maybe, or maybe it's parallel thinking, but it's like, you see an idea where you're like, fuck, I've been wanting, I've had
Wanting
an
to do
idea
that.
like that,
Yeah.
And this one stung because it's like, I still thought something was going to happen with it. Like it was a little bit of a complicated idea, which is why it fell through with the 2 places that wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this other little thing that I'm like, that was inspired by something that I've been doing. And I'm not a psycho who thinks everybody's stealing from me. They're just two pretty clear.
Close.
I have a pretty good gut when I'm like, I can picture that
Well, there's
person
some,
rationalizing this to themselves, going, well, it's not, he doesn't own the, like, I mean.
But
like,
sometimes it's
Yeah.
like one of my really, really good friends tweeted something that is a joke that I've done before, and I know that he didn't purposely steal because it's not like a joke I use all the time. But I know I've said it in tweets. I know.
Was it me?
No. And I know he wasn't.
This
stealing.
is how you're telling me that.
And I know he wasn't stealing it. But I said like, hey man, I think I did this. He goes, oh, do you want me to delete it? And I'm like, no, because I'm just probably gonna do it again in a couple. And then I'll tell them like I'll probably just do it again, and we can we'll do it like at the Milton Burls or. Because it's still a funny reference.
I
so
always
I'm
feel
still
like
gonna
I
do it.
tweet something that I've tweeted like a year prior, like the same. I'm like, oh, I think it's an original thought, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I've tweeted that before.
Oh, I've gotten off stage and did a bit I thought was brilliant for the first time and be like, oh, I just ripped that off of John Mulaney. Like I got off stage and I'm like, oh, that's just a John Mulaney bit that I did.
Yeah, but that happens.
And that used to happen
Then
a
you
lot when I was
realize
like,
it.
remember that Limerick House open mic in New York City?
Ooh, the worst open mic ever.
Yeah.
You
Danny-
never lived in New York,
Never
right?
lived there, no.
Dude.
Danny, do you want to sit down? You want to come in for this?
For this and the next
Yeah, and the next
Yeah.
one. Yeah, why not?
Is that all right, Brendan? Is he going to
Sure.
steal your thunder?
You'll steal that Walsh thunder.
What?
Just to talk about the Limerick House?
Well, but that's a good starting point.
Sure.
Danny Solomon, we all came up together in New York City comedy, but there was a horrible open mic called the Limerick House.
The Limerick House was this place. I guess it was an Irish bar,
Yeah.
and it was a brutal. I have a good story about that place. It was so bad. You remember it, right? Danny used to go all the time, right?
I was there when I found out Michael Jackson died.
I was there too.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Is
I
that
was
mic?
in,
Is your mic on or no?
I don't know.
Is Danny's
People
mic on,
need to
Jimmy?
know
Oh, yeah.
that people need to hear that again. Then.
Yeah, say it again. You were
I was
when you
there.
found-
I was there when I found out Michael Jackson died.
I was there for a show once. This is my story of it,
Yeah.
where not Tim Warner, Ed, who doesn't do comedy anymore. What's his?
Ed
Murray.
Murray, yeah.
Ed Murray.
Works at Nintendo now.
There was a group of blind guys there that were heckling the Ed. They
Have
were
we talked
heckling-
about this on the podcast, Tom?
Tom?
No, go ahead.
I don't think so. They were heckling Ed while he was up there. And Ed literally got so mad at them, he unzipped his pants, pulled his whole dick out, pulled his dick out and his balls, but didn't pull it out where you could see it, pulled it out so it was in his hand, and then just shook his hand with it in it at the, at the blind guys.
Holy
and
shit.
their handler was like, "What are you doing? What?" Handler was like,
And they were like,
freaking-
"What is he doing?"
And they were like,
Describe it to us. We're blind losers. We can't see. We're missing one of the most important senses.
Oh my god!
but it was nuts. I was like, oh, I can't believe he's doing this. And the
And they're
blind
already
guys-
pissed off because they think they're a Book of Mormon anyway.
Why is Book of Mormon so shitty political?
Talk about running over a corpse. A guy who hasn't done comedy in 6 years.
I know, but what
Like,
else are we
quit.
here for?
But it was pretty funny. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that was. What's Brandon? Have you ever pitched something where in the middle of the pitch you're like, couldn't be going any worse right now?
Yeah. Let me think. I've pretty much had good experiences with
Yeah, I
different stuff.
mostly have too.
But there is. Let me think of I can't remember the specifics, but I remember just kind of being like, "Let's just go." Not like, "Why are we wasting?"
Yeah. I remember one time I
Let's just go.
literally.
Yeah, let's just cut it short and get out of here.
Yeah, you can just tell. Like,
I was
people's body
pitching something with
language.
Jamie Lee, and I watched the woman we were pitching to admire the foliage in the window. When we watched her like take account of the whole tree. It was a nightmare.
I did a general meeting the other day where the woman asked me to do a stand-up joke at the meeting. She's like, "Well, could you do that? Could you do a stand-up? Could you do a joke for me right now?" And I go, "No, I can't. I can't do that."
You don't have like a go-to, just one.
No,
one
fuck that.
you.
No, it's
do like
principle.
a classic Dice Clay joke.
I
Yeah,
know.
right, exactly.
Wilma
Hickory
Muffet.
dickory dock.
Yeah,
I should
light
have
up
done
a
that.
smoke in
But
there.
I was just so taken aback. I'm like, "No, fuck you. I'm not doing that."
Gotta do what they say, man.
Yeah.
Dance monkey days.
Yeah.
I remember I did one that was really bad, and it was two people I had sold something for, and I was the reason it sucked, that pitch. And then at the end of it, I literally just went, "All right, sounds good." And then I left, and then I was pitching it with this other writer who's really good. I was like, "Wow, that was bad." He's like, "Yeah, that was not good."
I've never had that before.
And I don't think that was. I mean, I don't know if our relationships were repaired since then because I was so bad during that pitch.
Well, you know what's so scary is like I've done a pitch that's gone like okay or probably went really bad and I didn't realize it because I haven't pitched that many times. But the worst thing ever is when you're pitching over that video conferencing thing and it's off by a second and you make a joke in the room and everybody in the room kind of laughs or whatever and then you see the people in the video and they're like, like you had that beat before
Is this
they
in
left.
New York when you pitch?
I
stuff?
did it from New York, and there was
Yeah.
people from LA that were video conferencing in.
Got to be out here.
But your comedy instinct is when there's silence for even 1 second. You're like, well, I better fill it with another joke. since that joke didn't work. And then all of a sudden you're backed up 2 jokes deep into when they finally respond to the
Yeah.
first one.
Exactly.
I remember Mike. Me and Mike Drucker is a writer on the Tonight Show. We were pitching something to this reality production. It was like the first pitch I ever did. This was a reality production company, and we came in suits, like holding dossiers. And, we walked in like lawyers, like
Mad
preparing
Men.
a deposition. We both sat down, pushed the file towards them. It looked really professional, but it was not right for
You're like, my
comedy.
offer is this, Senator. Nothing.
Yeah, they open it up. There's nothing on these
There's
pages.
confetti in the fucking dossiers.
Oh, whatever their show is, it's genius.
That's how they sold Cosby Show. The Cosby Show. I don't know why I picked that one out of all the.
Is that
No, it
banging
still
on the
holds up.
table?
That's-
Picking,
Probably,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
It's just one of those things where it's just an awkward situation no matter how you cut. It's like going on an audition. Auditions
All of it,
are the
yeah.
most awkward thing ever.
I just had a revelation the other day that I'm like, I shouldn't still, like, this is a sign that things just didn't work out. I shouldn't be auditioning at this age.
Well,
Like,
you had an audition that did
yeah,
that?
I had an audition the other day and was like, what am I fucking doing? This is
Yeah.
stupid.
I think
I'm not
about
like,
that.
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of the auditions that I get to is when they just cast a fucking wide net where it's like, okay, we already saw the people we thought would be right for it. We're not finding the right person, so just whoever you have, girl.
Yeah,
Send
sure.
everybody.
Yeah.
And because you're there and it's like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's like sometimes you go and it's like, okay, everybody's a fucking doughy, bearded guy.
Right,
So this
right.
is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But then there's other ones like this one that I went to the other day where it's like, oh, everybody I know is going to this audition.
Yeah.
This isn't.
Yeah.
They're just like,
I
yeah,
had
let's
one-
see what you got.
One like that where I should have for a commercial where I was like, I was auditioning for the same commercial as Weebay from The Wire. We were going for the same exact thing.
Yeah, well, this is definitely. That's like when they're like, "Hey, we're looking for a Sherry O'Terry, Hannibal Buress type." Yeah, and you're like, "What?"
But you really do. Everyone always says this, but you do get an idea of what they think you look like the minute you walk in there. I know that's an
Yeah.
old joke, but it's true. You walk
Yeah.
in, you're like, "Oof, I gotta fucking
I started going to a trainer. I've been gaining weight like a motherfucker over the past 2 years and trying to
trying to."
I got
exercise.
be
a.
less disgusting.
I got this
Yeah,
like.
I gotta do the same thing.
I just bought like an elliptical slash
Oh, yeah.
exercise bike from, but I bought the cheapest one. Don't buy the cheap because
No.
it's like, mine was like $150, and it looks like a time machine from 1900. You know what I mean? Like what they thought a time machine was going to look like back then.
Yeah.
And then I use it, and it slams up and down like I'm trying to take flight. And I have to do it in my kitchen because it's the only place I can put my laptop, and I'm like watching Veep while like bouncing. I'm like, this is fun. We're all having fun.
And so it's not solid to the ground.
No,
like falling
it's
on the
not
ground.
at all. I'm looking at my empty gelato.
Yeah, now they have
containers
those
while I
real
do it.
high tech ones where you go online and you take video classes with somebody like across the country.
Oh, really?
Like you take soul cycle classes on your bike at home.
That sounds actually like it could work.
But I think it's probably like 10 grand for
Oh.
the thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really, you don't want to lose weight, right? In casting terms, you have to either be pretty fat or pretty good looking.
Yeah,
being
but we're
anything in the
no.
middle.
There's too fat for fat.
But you guys aren't close to too fat for fat.
I'm a little bit fatter than TV fat, I think. If I was a little bit lighter.
To me, that's crazy because I've been watching a lot of My 600-Pound Life. Like those. That's
oh,
those people are fat.
That's real fat.
That's TV fat for that
I'm just
show.
not. I don't
That's
feel
real TV fat.
Yeah, I mean, still like that fat gets on TV and it's fucking good TV.
I can't watch that. I can't watch that show. I watched 2 minutes of that
It's
show
terrible.
and I fucking.
There was
I
one
balked.
episode where they did a skin surgery on someone. They always do the the lap band first, and then when that finally gets them to a lower weight at a certain point, then they cut off the excess skin, and they actually unfold the skin like a butterfly piece of chicken and like showed it in front of the camera.
Oh God!
But then
getting sick hearing it.
But then they blurred out the lady's nipples.
That is one of my. I've had, and this isn't even like. This isn't a bit, but I've been talking about that for a while. I think that is the fucking craziest thing. Like when you watch those plastic surgery shows, this is what I was watching one. They were giving a lady a breast implant. They took her nipple off the tip and had it blurred. Where it's like, if that's what you're jerking off to, let the guy fucking have it.
You're a serial killer. And that's what you're jerking off to.
But also, it's like, when is jerking off illegal? Like, let people fucking like you could jerk off to a fucking like car commercial. You jerk off to anything. Why did they decide tits you can't see?
There was this trailer I was watching where it was like. It was one of those TLC. There was like a fat girl on it, like really fat. She was like trying to work out and dance. And then the end of the trailer was just her bawling hysterically.
I think I know the show.
And then the title just goes, "My Big Fat Fabulous Life." And it was after she's bawling. You see the word fabulous while tears are just coming down her big fat face. It was the worst.
Well, that's like the Mulaney bit where he talks about SVU, and he's like, it looks like the victim had anal contusions. Yeah. And then he's like, that was on TV at 12 in the afternoon.
Well, they did today. I left and they had Memorial Day, like SVU marathon, and then they showed like the one joke from SVU. They're like, check it out. And I'm like, this is, if no one saw SVU, they're like, oh, what is this going to be, like Burn Notice or something? And then you watch it and they're like, they found a knife in the knife that was already in her vagina. You know, like it's the worst.
Brutal. I watched those marathons.
A few quips.
They're running out of marathons.
Do you guys all watch? Like, I've never watched any of those procedural shows.
I
like
watch
Law and Order.
SVU. I used to watch the first Law and Order and NYPD Blue.
I watched. My favorite one was the Law and Order Criminal Intent, which is supposed to be like the mystery one.
Okay.
Which wasn't that bad. That was the Vincent D'Onofrio one that everybody hated. It was off the air in like 5 years, but like
in 5 years
or whatever. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Well, those things. That's if you're a Law and Order, you have guaranteed a few years of a thing because Dick Wolf.
I go for more like forensic files. Like I don't.
I like that.
I'm not
Real
fuck
true crime.
Like, why am I going to watch a fictionalized version of like the real thing?
It's ripped from the headlines. They basically take it and then just make like a person who kind of looks like Anna Nicole Smith or somebody like that.
Now to
and
the point where you watch it where it's just a comedy. It's just a comedy.
It's funny.
I'm pretty sure one of the guys that produced SVU for like a few years was named Speedweed. He was like the producer / writer for like ever. Yeah,
One word?
His name was Speedweed. No, Speed first name.
Okay.
Weed last name.
Nice.
And that's what it said. It said created by or written by Speedweed. Nice. And they were all these insane. Didn't you see the Jonathan Silverman stand-up comic SVU where he's the
I saw the
rapist
previews,
and he works at the comic strip in New York and he's supposed to be like this jock type of comic where he goes up and he's like, because the girls like it, that's why I do it. And then they're like, and then they go like Vince, Ice-T and Mariska Hargitay, they go to the comic
Kelly
strip.
Giddish. I went to school with her.
What?
Yeah, whatever.
All right, stop name dropping in the middle of my
dropping
story.
people who don't even know who she is.
But they go and they watch him, and then they just like he's like, "Hey, Law and Order." He goes, "Hey, Manhattan Special Victims Unit is here, everybody!" Like during the show, and then they arrest him like after the show. Like it's like the dumbest shit that you're like they have to be in on it.
Whenever I go to New York, it seems like I just do like the Stand as far as clubs go.
Stand's a great club. Yeah,
I like it there. Yeah, and I don't. There's always other little sets that pop up, and I'm not like when I go to New York, I'm usually not there for a super long time, and I don't want to be doing 20 sets a night. So the Stand's good to me.
The Stand's a good place, good club. There's a bunch of good clubs in the city. New York Comedy Club's great.
Yeah, Emilio.
Now
we're just like doing commercials for places we want to
New
get
York
booked.
is fun.
I like all shows that book me.
It's great. There's no rapists. SVU.
I just try to book myself.
There's no rapists.
I would love ABC in a 6-episode series about my life there at 6 seasons. Yeah,
so is Law and Order, all that's still on, right? So it's been on for like 20 years.
SVU's still on.
SVU's on for this is the 18th year.
But then I found out I was like, oh, Dick Wolf finally doesn't have like something on. But then he just did all those like Chicago Med ones, all those Chicago
Fire.
Those are all his. That guy's just counting money.
He's
got
to have $1 billion. Right?
You know, his wife's name is Pussy Coyote. Forensic Files. I feel like I've seen all the Forensic Files now, though. Like, because they
have
show
new
it
ones
all
now,
day.
though.
Yeah, I haven't seen a new. Like the ones that they show on Headline News I feel like I've cycled.
Those
through
are the
all
old
8
ones. Like they feel like
seasons.
they're from the 80s or something. Or
Yeah, they go up to like
91,
the early 2000s.
Okay,
maybe.
yeah.
And then First 48, I'm still on. That's if you want to see. If you want to see a reality show about white people murdering each other, watch Forensic Files.
Right.
If you want to see a show about black
Black
people
people
murdering each other, First 48.
First 48.
So
and it's always the same three. It's always like Memphis and like.
But where am I going to get a white person murdering a black person?
Well, it's just murdering each other. There's no.
But
Crossover.
I heard.
Yeah, there's no white on black or black on white crime on either show.
I used to love First 48 because I was like, this is straight up just there's no like reality show part to it.
Yeah.
And I heard it's not. I heard there are like they fuck with it. Like,
Oh,
there's-
really? I have a
Nah.
friend who was a cameraman on that.
And he said it wasn't.
I mean, this was years ago, and
he said
yeah,
it
it was
straight up?
just.
What
Yeah.
was so crazy about that OJ show was like I would read the Vanity Fair recap the next day,
Yeah.
and it was like all true. It was like
Yeah,
like 95% was like yeah,
really?
the
this
guy had a
Those
heart
receipts?
attack.
yeah. You're like he had a blue tie actually in the trial. That was like
that's
the
one
fact check.
Oh, so it was. That,
Almost everything was true. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
I remember one time
One
they
thing that
got
stuck out in my
like three
brain is-
things wrong on one episode. I was like, wow, that's because mostly it was just like literally like we don't think that happened at that location, but we definitely know it happened.
But like as far as big moves go,
it was all true.
or like him putting the smiley face on a suicide note and then going, "Who put the smiley
Yeah.
face?"
yeah, but
that
I
was true.
forget there was
I
something
remember
about
that.
it that was different. I don't think he signed it differently. Or
The
I
thing
don't know.
with that's crazy.
Or that Darden and Marsha Clark fucked.
They never put that in though.
But we know that they did. Yeah, they fucked.
I just did a visual.
Yeah,
why'd you do
figure
that?
it,
Ended the fuck
was
sign.
it to show Danny what fucking was?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you guys watch
I've been doing
the
it
whole
with
thing?
my dick.
Yeah, he did. I didn't. I
That's
watched.
I've never had sex.
The weirdest part of that, and I didn't finish the OJ thing, but do you remember the one episode where they showed, it was during the chase, and they just show like a Pizza Hut or a Domino's,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like out of cheese?
Yeah.
Just to show that like that, I think that night was like the most ordered
I
pizza.
do, yeah, right, yeah.
yeah.
But it's just a weird little insert of like, oh, we gotta make a pizza, and a guy just looks in the bucket and there's no cheese.
I still think the
it was the
funniest
NBA Finals too that night.
The funniest
Yeah.
one for that was the funniest blip. I don't know, whatever. Was when in Straight Outta Compton when Ice Cube is writing a screenplay and they're like,
Is Friday done yet?
and he even said, "This is hilarious." He said, "This is hilarious."
yeah.
Like it was like
He's writing
Shakespeare in Love or something.
The end.
People like those. Those are even sadder than like the Marvel movies. Like when they're like, "Oh my God, remember when Eazy-E and Ice Cube met?" And you're
Yeah,
like, come on, give me a break. Stop pretending.
Or when they threw the Kardashians into the OJ thing. That was
was funny.
Yeah.
Every
I
episode,
didn't like it.
Every episode,
You didn't like the OJ
Robert-
series?
I love the OJ
Yeah.
series. The Kardashians thing always
Yeah.
got to me
He
because
was
they
just like, Kimmy, tell Kimmy to come over here. Kimmy, Chloe.
There was the part when I don't know if you got this far when they're having dinner with David Schwimmer and he's like kind of talking to them about how being famous is not that important and how these people get, and then they made it a point to like show them being like, sorry, I'm not listening because
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. It's just like, that's when they jumped the shark on the Kardashians being in that show.
I think that's the last episode I saw. I only missed like the last. I think there's like the last 2 or 3 I didn't watch. There's
The jury one's really good when you like see how dumb the jury is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's racist.
It's crazy.
Oh,
how,
that's right. They
Like,
were mostly black.
it's crazy that
Yeah,
all
it's
that
cut.
happened. That like this obvious murderer got off on like a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bells
Right.
and whistles. And it's also funny how all those motherfuckers are dead.
Yeah, and he's
His
in
whole
jail.
defense team is dead and he's in jail.
Yeah.
Like they all died. I mean, F. Lee Bailey was pretty old, but like they all died pretty prematurely.
Johnny Cochran died in his 50s. Right?
Yeah.
Shapiro just died, right? That wasn't
Yeah,
that
I
long
think
ago.
he was of age
Maybe, yeah.
when he died. But yeah, the one thing they said they didn't get right is every time Shapiro was like, if this happens, L.A. will riot. Like they kept doing like that, where they're like, yeah, Shapiro never said that. He was just kind of a dum dum.
Yeah,
He
but
was
of
the
course,
best.
I mean, he was ably played by John Travolta.
I actually
also
thought he was
so good.
amazing.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
was
I liked
like,
it.
I liked it. Everyone was like, it was nothing like him. I'm like, who cares? It made the show better.
I
It
really-
was cartoonish but great.
Yeah, I love the casting of everybody, and I really wanted to like everybody. I wanted
Yeah.
Cuba to be great,
He was the
And I
only
don't-
one that I was like,
But he probably sucked, but I didn't think about it for 1 second. I was
Right,
just like,
right.
Go Cuba, dude! It's so good that you're
well,
because
they were smart and that they like the two most important roles, Cochran and Marcia Clark, were played by the best actors.
Yeah,
So they're just like, we'll have the best actor play these two, and then we'll gimmick cast everything else.
I like Darden though. Darden was pretty.
Darden was
solid.
good. Yeah, he was good too. He was good. I can't believe that that Johnny Cochran saying "N-word, please" was a real thing that happened.
Yeah,
that was cool. OJ, guys.
he's in jail. I was just talking to somebody earlier about whether or not he's dead, which he's not.
OJ?
Right?
No.
Yeah,
I see Robert
How
Blake.
long
I've
is he
seen
in jail for?
Robert
He's in
Blake
jail for,
around,
like, a
which is
while.
weird.
around.
Yeah, I've seen Robert Blake
Where?
around.
Do you live in Hollywood?
I just seen him at places, but and it's a weird moment whenever I run into Robert Blake. Where you're like, ugh, all right, and everyone's like, hey, and you're like, oh no.
See,
I
thought
can't say where I know him. I'll tell you right after this, but I can't say where I know him from, but I have seen him.
I thought you'd be
And
like,
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan, guys.
that's what I was gonna say. Is I thought you'd be when you see Robert Blake, you're like, hey, I get it.
Hey, I do this podcast on all things.
I mean, look, I wouldn't. He probably wouldn't say no to it.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
He can't say no
can't.
to it.
Let him
bumped
on
in-
this podcast.
What if
Have
what if
Sean
Robert
text him.
Blake sold your show idea? Brendon Walsh?
Is he
Yeah.
the one going around pitching your show?
The one who took it. Yeah, he's got a new late night show. Blake After Dark. I'm not too familiar. Like, I know he would he shoot his wife or something?
Yeah.
But is that like a pretty?
well,
is
he
that
had
like an
his.
OJ
I
thing?
think he had someone else do it. I forget
Okay.
what it is. He, I forget. I forget the specific. It's been a.
But
long
it's
time.
pretty like everybody's like, he did it. Like,
Yeah.
he had something.
Yeah, he was. They
Yeah.
were at the restaurant together or something like that, and then it happened like shortly after that. I'm butchering details that people will probably be able to cover, but I mix him up with with Spectre a lot.
Well, you
Because
realize
that's
you have so
very
much
similar.
If you have enough money, you can almost because if I was part of that jury, I couldn't convict OJ if the detective was like, no, but I mean the detective took evidence back to
Sure.
his place. I'm not saying, of course he did it, but I'm saying with the stuff that they presented, this is a long way for me
No,
to say.
you were
OJ's
talking about how the jury episode was interesting, and that was the best episode for me because
Yeah.
I was thinking I probably would have done a lot of that. I would have at least been like, they just didn't do a convincing enough job of convicting the guy, and that's
Yeah.
your job in there. And
Yeah.
definitely with a lot of other people who didn't think that they did it.
Plus, Naked Gun was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
Well, that's what people don't remember. Like, OJ was so beloved.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when it happened. Like, I remember the chase and all that. Because I went to my friend's house to watch the basketball game.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's this? And it was like, OJ's being chased. And, like, the whole time was like, OJ's the most gentle man. Like,
Yeah.
everybody was like...
Nordberg.
yeah.
No, Nordberg was the one who got shot instead.
I
Hello?
think Sean's locked out, maybe.
God damn it, Sean. 1 second. Guys, I'm sorry.
All right, well, I guess it's our podcast now for a little bit.
Welcome to Danny and the B-Man.
All right, let's go to the fart cam.
All right. Oh, this is my idea that I hope nobody steals, but I'm going to start a new podcast where I'm just in a stall of a public restroom and wait for somebody to come in and take a shit and try to interview them.
Just as you say that, fat Jew comes out of the walls and disappears.
Dope idea.
I'm gonna Snapchat it.
I'll do it with pizza involved.
Just tweak it a little, man.
Oh, we had it at work. It was like our head writer. It was it was great. He put because we're getting people who are going to be on this season, and then before he came in, they had Fat Jew on episode 2, and he made us all free. We can't have him on. We can't have him on.
Is he going to
It
be
was a
on?
joke.
No, it was
He
a
was
bet.
fucking with you? Yeah.
The whole time. Just
That's
try-
so funny.
But that fat Jew guy he's fine, right? Like he's not. Is he still?
I was in a
doing stuff?
movie with him.
What?
Yeah, I was in this movie, Wifed Out. I was a cameo. I was in 2 scenes. I was the party bus driver, and it was Fat Jew, Sean Patton.
Hold on. Did you call it a cameo?
Well,
We gotta look at it. we gotta get
yeah,
Dan Saint
they know.
Germain.
They're like, oh my god, is that Fuse's Dan Saint Germain? Whatever. It was a weird cast. That was Fat
Do you think
Jew.
we can get Saint Germain for this bus driver role?
Or do you think he's
gonna have
already
to do
too
it-
much work with his actual bus driving job?
He's going to have to do it as a cameo because if he uses his name, we can't match his rate. We're going to blow the whole budget on Germain. Germain.
Okay, all right, so you were gracing this film set with your presence. And what happened?
No, it was just a weird cast. It was Fat Jew, me, Sean Patton. I made a joke about this, and Sean Patton got like actually pissed off on Twitter about it. I was
Why?
like,
What?
Sean, get your panties in there. Get your panties in a bunch. But it was like Sean Patton, Dustin Diamond,
Oh my God!
Ron Artest, and the rapper Eve.
Oh my God!
And
What
I
movie is
tweeted,
this?
I was like, after the whole Fat Jew thing, I was like, we were all in this movie together. I think it made $1 billion. And Sean got pissed off. I'm like, come on,
Well,
man.
Come
what
on,
is
have a
pissed
sense of
off? What
humor.
did he say?
I
pissed him
forget.
off
It was
about
in.
it?
He said, "Fuck you, you fat piece of shit."
I forget what it was.
I mean, you read things and they kind of sound different. Than
What's it called? I'll rent it.
That's true. I am sensitive.
Wait, so
It was called Wifed Out.
a wife? Oh my God!
It was like it was like one of those things where it was trying to be The Hangover or whatever.
so, what was the bus driver's arc?
I think what was
he
it? I
had
ate
passengers.
halal.
He didn't.
That was it. I was just like eating halal like pussy or something. I forget
It's a
what
free
it was.
meal right there.
Yeah.
It just says cast Mark Maron.
Oh, Mark Maron's in it too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Did it ever come out?
It came out. It's on Netflix, I think.
It's
All
on
right.
Netflix now.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
God! How
All
have I not
wiped
known
out.
this?
Because I haven't like advertised.
You
Because then he
never-
paid me $200, so I
When
haven't
did you
like put
film
it
it?
on Twitter or anything.
I was gonna watch Philomena, but now it's gonna be this.
What do you guys want to watch tonight? Wiped Out or Schenectady, New York?
The Godfather trilogy or Wifed Out? The Godfather saga or Wifed Out?
Yeah.
That's insane. You didn't tell me
Yeah.
about this.
Well, it was just one day of shooting. I mean, they were super nice when I was there, but I don't know if it really.
I
made
would
the
tell
impact at the
everybody
box
about
office.
that. You're in with rapper. Did you meet Eve when you were there?
Super nice. Eve
She's
is the
super hot,
coolest.
Eve. Super
Who's the
hot.
asshole of
She has
that
those
group,
bear
then?
clothes.
I mean,
Damn.
there wasn't
Fat
an
Jew.
asshole, probably me, but
How
there
was
wasn't an
Fat
asshole. But there
I
was
was
a
the one
moment
with the
where I'm
biggest
like,
trailer.
where like Fat Jew walked in with like the huge hair and all that, like a pendant, and I'm like, oh, is that like the character? And then I found out like, oh no, that's just him. Oh my God, Jesus.
I just watched this. Just talking about like weird cast members. I was up late at night and started watching that Jack and Jill movie, the Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
where he plays
Pacino's in
twins.
that, right?
Pacino's in it.
Yeah.
But then there's a party scene that has. Well, then he goes on The Price Is Right. So like Drew Carey's in it.
Yeah.
And then there's this party scene where Jared from Subway's in it a few times, and Bruce Jenner is in it too.
Well, let's not compare them.
No, I'm just saying it's like it was a weird kind of.
we
like,
we
oh,
all
wow,
know
like,
they're not going to heaven, but for very different reasons.
No, we
I
want to compare them,
just-
just not over the air.
I'm not saying I'm not comparing them, just in the sense that like they're just so. Like huge now, like in the news for the wrong
Right, of
reason.
course,
Right.
So like in 2012, it's like, oh, it'll be funny. We'll get the Subway guy, the ShamWow guy's in it too.
And he
Bruce
punched
Jenner.
someone.
he
punched
beat up a lady.
hooker,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he punched the hooker.
It was a hooker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he bit her
in
face
Florida
or something.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my God.
and by the way, Billy Mays died of cocaine.
Yeah,
overdose.
he did. Yeah.
Those guys were really
Those guys-
serious.
Yeah, I did a Billy Mays thing for that fucking World's Dumbest.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was supposed to be Billy Mays, and they dressed me up with a bald wig and all that. And then
You did a
Oh, I
cameo in
remember
World's
that.
I did a cameo.
Cameo.
I did a cameo.
No, he was a recurring player.
He was the Eve of that.
I was
If there's one thing you can't take away from Sean, it's he's the Eve of True TV.
That was a great job, man. I love
You
that
you guys had a great setup because it was you and Chris out here, just like doing all the stuff for them. It was like you guys freaking like you just ran the whole shit, right?
Yeah, by the end, it was like, because they brought in like these like weird kind of producer guys, like UCB guys. They were fine.
Yeah.
But I called the production office. Was like, hey, can I do that instead of like, because I kind of would shoot down a lot of their ideas too. I was like, because I just kind of knew who I was.
Yeah,
on the
right.
show, and it's like, like they would send you jokes like, hey, try these, and I go, get one of the corny people to do that. Like, I'm not gonna
right, exactly.
I write my own dick jokes.
The
But it was a great, easy job. I mean, it didn't pay a ton, but it was
a great
You
but
pay
it's
your
easy.
rent with it by the end.
What'd you say?
By the end of it, I could more than pay my rent with it. Like, especially when I started doing the producing stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it was one of those things where it was like, because they did like a couple of specials in New York where they taped. It's basically the same kind of thing, and it's like one of those things where you just go in and you just riff for an hour, and then you're like, okay, I'll see you. That was that was really fun,
Yeah.
and they're really nice people, so that's
Yeah.
what makes it a lot easier. Because I always wondered about if you're on one of these sets where the people are assholes, and you kind of wonder, like,
Folks at home, let me illustrate what just
you
happened.
did that on purpose.
I swear to God.
You trip. Dan just
tried
fell.
to, like, slide in.
You almost knocked that TV off the
Sorry.
wall.
I'm sorry.
It
Guys,
was,
we got to wrap
Oh
it
my-
up, though. We have
We have the other guest
4 or
here.
5. Brandon's got an appointment.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Okay.
what thing is? It's called My Dumb Friends. You tell us the dumbest thing you've ever done.
Oh boy.
Hey, can
We're
you,
so
can
not
you
good at-
use what Dan just did?
Yeah, I know that was pretty good. Shit, I should have thought about it.
It's
before.
all right.
Don't worry about it if you
can
don't
come
have anything.
back.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something really bad. I don't know.
like
I'm
a
spacing on it.
drunk.
I mean,
thing?
that's what I'm thinking. It's like, what's
Yeah.
like the craziest drunk story? I mean, there was one time that I was in Phoenix with Stanhope when I was like touring with him, opening for him, and like I got in early, like that afternoon. We were staying at like one of those resort. Every place is like a resort. In Arizona.
Yeah, because I stayed at the Toscana when I was there. And
Yeah,
it's
it's just every hotel is like a resort because it has
Yeah.
a pool and a fucking outside bar or whatever.
absolutely.
And so flew in, got there, and him and Bingo, his girlfriend, they're like hanging out by the pool having some drinks. And I was like, oh, I'll have a few drinks. And then I continued drinking. They like kind of took a break and like, oh, well, we're gonna go to the room and get ready, and then we'll go to the show. And I just kind of kept drinking. So by showtime, I was pretty fucking drunk. And this is the only time. I mean, I've been like tipsy on stage, but like this is the only time that I was just like hammered on stage.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how hammered I was, and I was like bombing, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't realize. I was like, it's them, it's not me. And like Doug, like eventually just kind of came up and was like, all right, get out of here. And I was like, what? It's them. I mean, and then like I got off the stage and in view of everybody, I thought I went to go sit on a stool, but it was a trash can. So I just went. I was like, "What?" It was damn. Fuck this crowd, and I go sit in a trash can. The trash goes all over me.
That's pretty dumb.
that's
that
pretty-
works.
That's pretty dumb,
And
yeah.
Danny's will get next episode.
Jesus Christ. Well, that was good. That's really going to hook him in for the next one, Sean.
So
No, we can
Danny's
do it
just
now
going
if
to
you
stay
want.
here for a week.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's gonna stay
Danny
around
lives
a
here
bit
now. Brendan, is there anything you want to pop?
I think. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to my.
This will be coming out in like a month.
There's my podcast,
The Bone Zone.
The Bone Zone, also on All Things Comedy, is we're going to be doing a live one in New Orleans sometime in October. It's a part of a festival.
Hell yeah fest or something?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, fest. So yeah, whatever. It's in October.
All right. Well, but listen to the podcast.
Why am I even saying that?
listen to the podcast
All
and
right.
you'll find out about it.
Yeah. I think this weekend I'll be in Hyenas, so check that out.
I will be in New York, but I have an album out called Manual Labor Face, and I have a Twitter at ShoneyTime, also my Instagram. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
And Danny, see
I
you,
think Brendan and
see
me
you
have
next week.
albums too.
Hey, I'll be here.
You'll be here
All
next
right.
week. All
Bye-bye.
right, bye.